Hi, welcome back to More Brothers Speak. I'd like to talk to you now about, wow,
Criminal?
criminals and also school.
Yeah, let's talk about school and criminals.
Yeah.
Because
It's sad that they mix together.
So you
Criminal
trying to say
school, school criminals.
school criminals.
Well, you know, y'all used to beat y'all children, so they were bad, but y'all maintained it and controlled that wild side. Well, let me say, my parents used to whoop me, and that was why I'm calm and quiet now.
I know I ain't got some beatings. I ain't got some
You know, I'm in a predicament. I mean, if I confess that.
Plead the fifth, brother.
Is it statute of limitations?
The first fifth.
But I will let him finish his statement.
Get him on the way home. It ain't too late.
But that's a good inroad to what is that? Black teen who pushed a
Teacher's aid.
teacher's aide
Yes. Yes.
to be free.
I think I saw something about that on the news today.
All she did was push her.
All she did was push.
Well, I say one
Put it in a
interesting.
juvenile detention center.
One interesting thing about that is I don't even know why did the police, when I read the article, it didn't even state, you know, why were the police even called? I pushed the teacher before you might get
Why did
detention
it
or
even
10
get that
days.
far?
Yeah. What was even the point that police officers had to get called in there? Because I've noticed that at times they don't really sit down and talk and figure out what was the issue. At times, you did this, you're wrong. This is what happens.
Well, I think a lot of the school systems have switched over to a zero tolerance policy.
Uh-huh.
So that might be the reason behind that. You know, I've been seeing more and more, 9-year-olds getting arrested, handcuffed.
But is that a good policy?
7-year-olds being arrested and handcuffed.
Is that a good policy?
I don't
know if
I
it's
don't believe
necessarily
so.
good.
I believe it's
Zero tolerance?
It's
How many parents drive down the highway that keep the speed limit? And how do you expect your child to do everything right all the time in a controlled environment? Not only in a controlled environment, but in a teaching or training environment.
Yeah.
You know,
they ain't gonna sit there and listen.
I mean, is
Especially
what they're
with-
asking is it realistic? Because how in the world can you have zero tolerance in a training institution or in any? I mean, kids go to school to learn, right?
That's right.
We teach them discipline. We teach them behavior. We teach them culture. School is what for training, right?
That's right.
How you gonna have a zero tolerance?
You know that the movie that came out years ago, Lean on Me, where the principal came in and was looking around, and he went into the cafeteria and saw cages that they would put the students in. If y'all remember the movie.
Yeah.
And he said the first thing I'm gonna do is tear these cages down, because if you cage them up like they're animals, they're gonna act like animals. If you have zero tolerance and you're always locking the child up, how are they going to get out of that mindset of I do something wrong, I go to jail, versus teaching them the right way to handle situations? Because if you're always going to lock them up, well, if I do something bad, I'm going to just go ahead and beat this brother down, so this is worth it.
And it's also train that child. I'm thinking that, all right, child know that, okay, I know you're going to do this to me, so as you just stated, but yet by the same time, I'm ready to take that punishment and more to get my way, to show you that what you're doing to me is not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think what they're trying to say is, okay, this is not working. I mean, children act out.
Right.
And when you can see a child say, okay, this is not working for this child, I need to do something else. You know, we just need a different plan. I don't
thing-
think zero tolerance is
wondering
the best plan.
who
to
I
do.
was-
think one of the things that I remember from my high school experience was a lack of counselors. I really I really didn't feel as though they had enough counselors to address the needs of the children. I think we had 6 for about a school of like 6,000.
Do you think talking would do it?
Well, sometimes a lot of kids just need an outlet.
This is true.
Yeah.
I'm sure that now I don't know the specifics of this particular case, but I have seen people lash out just because they had something else going on, whether it be at home, and I believe that this child doesn't have the best home situation from the little bit that I've heard, and so sometimes that'll have a toll on that child's life. So rather than giving them a second chance and giving them the best opportunity at a positive future, I think America just would rather incarcerate them, give them no future.
Because they don't.
But when you incarcerate them, you're still paying for them.
Oh yeah,
It's cheaper to educate them than to incarcerate them. And
I think there's a lack of, when you use the word educate, I believe it's not just teaching them English and math, but teaching them, I'm assuming you're teaching them
True,
behavioral,
educate. Yes.
social skills.
social skills. And there's a lack of, you can know how to have social skills, but at times you may not know how to teach a child how to be sociable or how to have these certain characteristics.
Well, each child is different.
Yeah. And if you don't know the different personalities that are in that a child could possibly have, being able to pick up, okay, he's real finicky, so he likes to do a lot of work, so let's make him mow the yard and all that. There's different things that they used to do to hone in on that particular child's personality to mold them into a grown adult. I believe there's that lacking ability of some parents knowing how to mold that child. All of a sudden now we have I do some mentoring at some different middle schools, and it's sad that I hear that every child has been tested to see what kind of disability they might have.
They test them for disabilities?
Well, they test to see, okay, this child seems a little hyper. Let's see if they have, ADD,
ADD,
or if they have
all
the.
other-
Yeah, they always
Too bad
test
they
them to
don't
see if
test
there's something wrong.
presidents I'm sorry. I digress. I'm sorry.
Remember, this ain't, but it might be a cover-up.
That marketing firm, the marketing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That person probably end up passing, right?
I'm sorry.
But I seriously feel there's that one part that's lacking, because it would be very difficult to teach somebody how to present themselves in this society, go to school, be obedient, and work a 40 or 50-hour job. It could be. That's what some of these parents are faced with, especially if you're a single parent. So it would be difficult to do that. So there's something else they got to do besides the zero tolerance. There should be some sort of collaboration between parents and school, and say, okay, we need to come up with a plan. Whenever we have issues at my job with a certain situation, we get the people that are involved, and okay, this isn't working, kind of like the war. We need to work on this. We need to come up with a new plan because this isn't working. What that is, I couldn't really tell you. But there's something that would need to be done besides what they're doing right now, because there's a lot of kids being lost.
Now, to play devil's advocate,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you knowing that well?
I see him on TV from time to time.
It's getting hot.
No, but I pose this question: Don't faculty and staff have a right to feel safe at school?
And don't our children have a right to feel safe at school?
But in this particular instance, I mean, she did place her hands on faculty.
This would be one of those, exception to the rule.
Hmm.
Exception to the rule.
For
But
what
see-
reason?
Well, I mean, putting this case aside, but there have been many schools where educators are afraid to go in and teach because they're afraid of the students. And then
Yeah.
plus, you know, in past years we've had incidents of school shootings, Columbine.